Morecambe, well, Paul, an eventful evening.
Yeah, it certainly was. Yeah, I went from thinking we were going to win it 2 or 3, sort of start of the second half, with some unbelievable chances, to then thinking that we were going to throw it away. To be honest, so it definitely was a really strange game in terms of chances and penalties, but we have to be pleased with a point in the end. But I think there was a real big moment in the game at the start of the second half where we had, I think it was 2 or 3 really great chances, and if we get that, it's a game changer, because you know we've not been 2 goals up in a game, and you know it's nervy. It's been a nervy season, and we're 1 up and we're looking to hold on to it, and we really need to put the game to bed at that stage. If we get 1, so if we get 2, I think we'd have gone on and got 3, but it wasn't to be, and in the end, you know, we was dependent on Trevor and penalty save, but it was a strange game.
What changed then? Because you had that 55 minutes or so, and then all of a sudden Morecambe got into the ascendancy.
That is football. That is football. If you don't put your chances away, okay, in your good spell, normally it comes back to bite you, and it certainly did that tonight. I mean, we had control of the game, total control of the game, and really good chance. The 3 chances were great, but you know, I thought Dunn caused them problems. I thought we created chances. There's as many chances I've seen us create in a game, but in the end, you know, when you don't put them away, you always know a team like Morecambe that's been together a long time is going to come back and have a go at you, and they did that. But you know, we have to be pleased with the point. We've nipped up a couple of places, and that's how it's going to be. It's not going to be easy. We're not going to be able to just, you know, go straight to wins, easy wins. It's going to be really tough, and at least we dug in, and you know, we got a point.
You had those chances, then you made the change when you took Harry off and put Joe on. What was the thinking behind making that change?
Well, at that stage, you know, we had to pay respect to the game and the way the game had gone, and you know, Morecambe playing with somebody in the space that was causing us problems. I think in the end, you know, I think it's definitely a case in any game of football I've ever been involved in. If you don't take your chances, and the chances that we had and the pressure that we had, you're going to come under pressure, and we did come under pressure. I think we found it difficult with the wing backs. We found it difficult to get Vaughan pushed on and stop him coming forward on the left, and the same with Craig on the right. I mean, Craig, you know, tight hamstring, so we're dependent on Jimmy coming on. You know, he's not had much football, and in the end, it's a real team effort to keep it at 1-1.
Thoughts on the penalties, the one that you got and the 2 that they got?
Yeah, I think they were all penalties. I think actually it was a free kick on Dunn when Dunn chased down a ball, which I said to our strikers, that's an example to every striker. The boys from Liverpool, where you would associate good play, clever play, touch, and you know, he fought like a lion to get that ball, and that's what every striker at our club should be looking at and should be doing for the cause. And I felt just, you know, before their penalties, he was in, he'd got the wrong side, there was indecision between their centre half and goalkeeper, and I thought it was a foul. But I did think all of them were penalties. But it was a very strange game. But it was one where we can take lots of pluses, but also we've got to learn, you know, to know how to defend a lead and also kill a game off.
What's the biggest positive you can take?
Chances created. I think chances created for what we were doing and where we were, and you know, we conceded 1 goal, which is disappointing. We still had a clean sheet, but like I say, I know what I've taken over. I've taken over a difficult job, a difficult time for the club and the players, and we've got to keep working hard on the training ground. We've got to show the same desire, and we've shown tonight that we were in control of the game, and we had a golden opportunity to kill the game, and we didn't do it. So there's lots of pluses, there's a few minuses, but overall in the end it's a good point.
What's the minuses?
Well, I think, you know, having that killer instinct when you've got control of the game. You know, we found ourselves 6 yards from goal. We found ourselves with a clear sight of goal on one of them, where, you know, if that goes in, it is a different game. It's a different game of football because it settles us down, it settles the nerves. But when you don't score, you know they're going to come back at you. They always then thought there was something in it for them, and there was in the end. I think when the ball went out for the throw in the far corner, we wasn't disciplined enough as a team. I think I've been trying to educate the boys in terms of, you know, restarts. When the ball goes out of play, you've got to get back in, you've got to be organised, and you need good voice, and we'll learn from that.
How much of a plus was it to have your skipper back?
I thought Taylor, Lloyd and Troy were excellent. Again, you see in League Two how important it is to defend the box, and I have to be pleased with that. I have to be pleased with the goals against Colin, because it was horrendous before I come in. It was something like 19 goals in 7 games before I come in, and I think now it's something like 9 in 8. So we've really picked up on that. We've still got a long way to go, but I thought all 3 of them defended brilliantly. We've got to find some real belief now in front of goal. We've got to really step on, because tonight it could have been a totally different story. Early on, 55, 60 minutes, we could have found ourselves 2 or 3 up.
Now you also, with your team selection, you left Matt Richards out the side tonight. What was the thinking behind that?
I had a long chat with Matt this week, and I want him to have more fight in his game. I want him to win more second balls. I want him to be able to press, because I think that's the role of the modern day midfielder. And I think he realises that he's taken it well tonight, being left out. He's a really good pro where that's concerned, and he's definitely got a future at the club. He's just got a big dynamic. You see how fast the game was for 90 minutes tonight. You saw how many free balls there were in the middle, and he's got to get that into his game.
And also give the chance to pair Stuart and Ferdinand together.
Yeah, Stuart and Ferdinand, they're dynamic at times, even themselves. They've got to help balls on. They've got to do the ugly sides. I felt, clearing our lines was a problem. We tried to sometimes nick things and play out, and it wasn't a night for that. But, when you're under pressure, if it's a clearance, it's got to go. But we'll learn. We'll learn from it. I felt that it was a more dynamic performance. Certainly for 60 minutes, we looked like we could score. I thought the 3 up front gave us something different to what we've seen before. I think they were exciting, enterprising in their play, and Harry just again, the Newport game, he just gets blocked, and this one just a real opportunity again blocked. We're very close. We're not a million miles away, but as I say, it's never going to be an easy job, and it's going to be a tough fight between now and the end of the season.
No Byron tonight with his slight injury. So what's his future now? And have you had any inquiries for him?
I had a couple of inquiries for Byron. He's got to fight like everybody else. He has to fight. Dunn was the example tonight. Dunn is something like, what's Dunn, 5'6"? He fights like a lion. That's what I want. It's a gimme. It's a gimme for everybody. Right? And we found ourselves in a mess, in my opinion, over the last couple of seasons, where we've been stagnated in 18th. And for me, it comes down to having an energetic team, having a real honest team and a nasty team. And you can see why I brought Dunn to the club. Jack Dunn now 2 goals in 3 games. You can see why I brought him in. He gives his all, gives absolutely everything. And that's what I want from Byron. That's what I want from everybody at the club.
The chairman said that the budget is spent. You've mentioned that the budget is spent. With people like Byron, with people like Andy Howarth, Paul Black, who weren't also involved tonight, are you still looking to wheel and deal maybe?
I've made it clear with those players. I think Blackie's going to move on. I think he's, but I've made it clear with Andy and the boys that they've been here now for a while. They've been here for a while, and the league table doesn't lie of where we are and where we've been for quite a while. And I want more. I just want more from everybody, and I don't think that's a lot to ask. And they've all still got a future at the club. But when there's no money to spend and there's no money to bring anybody in, as a rule, it's been another incredible deal that we've had from Palace, with the new lad, and as you know, an incredible deal from Liverpool. But that's the only market I've been able to go into. So unless players move on, I won't be able to strengthen. And we'll have to keep working with the group we've got, and the group we've got are going to have to switch on. And know the seriousness of where we've been over the last 18 months, because I do. I've under no illusions coming into the club as to where we are and how difficult it's going to be to get a win. But like I said in the week, I'm not a magician, but I certainly understand how to win games and what's required, and the first thing is hard work.
Would you expect players to leave the club between now and then?
I don't know. I don't know. But like I say, all I can do is come and assess the problems, address the problems, be honest with every player, have a look at them. Everyone's had a go. You watch the games, the fans watch the games, and like I say, you can see why I've added Dunn. You can see why I've added somebody and his work rate alone. Forget his ability and his skill and all the rest of it. It's just his work rate and his desire he's a gimme, and they're the players I want. I don't want players anywhere near the club that are not going to work hard, and I made that crystal clear. So everybody knows where they stand now. It's up to the lads. I thought it was a very honest performance tonight by the boys, and you know, if we keep doing that and we're willing to learn and we're willing to take advice and information, you know, hopefully we can keep climbing the league. But that's all. That's what it is when you're dealing with the same squad that's you know, put us to 18th in the league because they have to take responsibility. It's my job to try and improve those players, and I think we are improving.
We didn't see him tonight, but what are you hoping to get out of Jake Gray while he's here?
Jake Gray can play wide right. Okay, he's a modern day footballer in terms of coming in off the line, so he can play in a 3, he can play in a 4, and it just, you know, it'll add value in a position where I feel we're quite weak. You know, Kane Ferdinand's had to play out on the right a lot this season because, you know, we've not had the players that can perform at League 2 level out on the right. You know, so I think he'll add great value. He's scored 4 goals in 10 starts for the under-21s at Palace, and he's a really good lad. He showed that tonight by, you know, the deal was only done today, straight on the train to be here. I'm disappointed he couldn't get on, but it just wasn't right to put him on tonight. You know, it would have been nice if we could have put them in the back of the net, those 3 chances, and then give him a go. But he'll add value. You know, he's made of the right stuff.
Paul, thanks.
Cheers.
Let's go.